hard to see him into that low 50s. We want to be seeing someone into the 40s. We haven't seen anybody into the 40s yet, and he's always a huge challenge here at Goodwood. And it's 53.46, so he's still not there. He's in 5th position. Now, this is one of the new Ferrari 488s, the challenge cars. This is James Swift at the wheel, and again, this is potentially a pretty rapid machine. It's built as a race car. It's 670 horsepower with a twin-turbo V8 sitting in there, and I think this could be a chance.
Yeah, we'll wait and see when we get to that all-important Moulcombe corner. They're right in front of us now, into the left-hander at Moulcombe. If he can just get that drive right out of here, look good, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So the Ferrari 488 looking very good indeed. It went through 23.4. It's on the pace, 38.3 at the second intermediate. And that is quite fast, among the fastest.
Okay, so let's see, is this going to be enough to knock that BMW M4 CSL off the top of the list?
52.3, not quite.
Close between them. So from 51.0 to 52.3, it's about 1.3 off the pace so far. Now, this is a rallycross machine. I doubt it's going to be the fastest, but it's Jenson Button's machine, and Jenson is definitely getting more to grip with it. He loves this place. The Formula One world champion of 2009 is now switching his career into all sorts of other things. He's definitely involved in this.
Well, they knocked 30% of the power off yesterday for him to get used to it. Now I would suspect that they've wound that right back up to full power, judging by the way the thing's moving around on the road. 22.0 through intermediate 1, 35.9 through intermediate 2. That's a good pace. I've got to say, that's the fastest pace through intermediate 2. 48.99 from Jenson Button, 48.99. That is impressive.
Yeah, that is good. He's gone fastest. So Jenson Button, currently the fastest out there on the hill climb run.
On a car that you wouldn't have expected, perhaps.
No, well, it's built for rallycross more than anything. But this Dodge Viper is a rapid machine, so this is something to keep an eye on. But then we've got the Formula E car as well. Formula E, this is the latest version. It's actually the new version. It's not racing yet. It's going to be racing in the next championship. Nick Heidfeld, who has had the record here in the past, he is now launched in the Mahindra ran car.
They're coming thick and fast now, and thick and fast with the emphasis on fast. Look at this thing. It looks like something out of the future, and of course it is.
Yeah, that's right. This is the new look at the Formula E car. When it came up on the pictures, everyone was going, wow, look at that shape, the aero sort of triangle shape that they've developed.
Through the first split, not right, 22.6, so he's still got work to do.
Yeah.
Well, needs to get this right. Nick Heidfeld, the course record holder at one point. I don't think this is going to be able to do it, the Mahindra. It looks like it should.
Let's see, is it going to beat that Jenson Button time that we saw just a few moments ago? No.
Just
49.3, it's not quite enough. It's not quite enough because it was a 48.99 or 49.0 that Jenson did earlier. So he's just missed out on that. Very close though.
Very close indeed. Here we go.
Yeah, this is an important one because this man, Justin Law, has won this event before. Now remember, all of this today is not about winning the outright event. It is about being fastest today. Of course, you want to be fastest today. It sets up the order for tomorrow and the actual win, but it's still just as important to everybody to try and be as quick as possible. Justin won this in 2017. He crashed out last year, so he's still going to be doing a pretty competitive run. His first sector, not bad.
Not bad, 22.0 against the 21 of Ben Mitchell.
Adam Smalley, he's also quick though in the Porsche, so we shall see how he gets on. Here comes the Jaguar up to the top of the hill.
But so the 22.0 through the first sector as well. What have we gone through the second sector? 35.6, 47.3, 47.3 then.
Yeah, that's good, but actually it's just been beaten by the Formula 2 March BMW. We didn't see it, but the single-seater was actually a fraction quicker than that. So we've seen another change as the times continue to improve, and well,
this is your 2,000 horsepower van that is certainly quick off the mark. As all four motors pull this van around, right out towards the grass.
Former winner here, Romain Dumas. Can he put it together in this? I think
We've
this
got
is a remarkable piece of kit. I don't think it's quite got the same pace.
I think the chassis-wise, we're just perhaps a little bit on the large side, but 2,000 horsepower, the equivalent of Dumas has got under his foot. And again, Dumas through 21.8 was his first split, 126 mile, 35.9 in the second split.
Yeah,
he's not a million miles away for a van, is he?
He's very competitive, Romain Dumas. And when Ed Foster was telling me when he arrived up the top of the hill earlier this week, having done his first run, well, he's gone third fastest.
48.59, 48.59, 134.7 miles an hour. Meanwhile, wait for it.
And Travis Pastrana's already on the hill, and then we've got Alex Summers. These are the two fastest vehicles that are there. Then watch Travis Pastrana, this amazing machine with the little wing flaps that pick up when he gets onto the brakes. And this will be a quick one.
Whoa. Over the line and he goes. Pastrana, 47.0, 47.0 from Pastrana.
It's not actually the fastest. It's not quite beaten the Formula 2 March.
Here we go then. This is a weapon. Have you ever seen anything like it? Wait till it leaves the blocks. It is a frightening looking vehicle.
Fully electric.
You'd get out the way if this came up behind you, that is for sure.
2 electric motors at the rear. It's got a fan to create downforce, and you'll see it chucking out the air and debris virtually out of the fan at the back of it that creates huge amount of downforce.
Look at that. Look at Have you ever seen anything like it off the line?
Here we go.
McMurtry Automotive Spearling then. Alex Summers is your driver.
Yeah, Alex is a hill climb winner many times, leading the current British Hill Climb Championship in a very different kind of car to this, though. And he's sharing it with Max Chilton over the weekend.
Well, Max Chilton was quick enough in it yesterday. Alex Summers, though, doesn't look like he's hanging about. Yeah, you wouldn't want to blink, would you? You'd be in the fence if you blinked too much.
On board, great shot.
Wow, over the sprint.
Yeah, now he's just got the final part. It's so quick.
29.6 through the second intermediate, 29.6. He is going to blitz this time, surely.
Yeah.
Coming to the finish line, over the finish line, a 40.05. 40 seconds, 149.1 mile an hour, 40.5 for the complete course. Wow.
That is fantastic. You know, that is almost the new record. Not quite, but that is so close to the existing record here. And he was saying yesterday, well, actually earlier today when he was driving the car, Alex was saying, well, you know, Max Chilton, he's so fast, but he's done a brilliant job. And he is the fastest man of the day. Well done to Alex Summers.
Have you ever seen anything like that, Ben? I've got to say, he gave a hand signal at the end there that gave me the impression that he was glad to have actually made it to the top of the course. It's almost like a space shuttle, this thing. I've never quite seen anything like it.
And the view from the onboard camera. He's still breathing. He's still taking deep breaths to get through. Look at that.
What a time.
Really amazing. So, for all of you who are wondering what this is the McMurtry Automotive Spearling, as it's called. It is a special prototype machine that has been created. And we've got an opportunity, I think, to get a word with him.
I think the fact that the car is the size it is as well for a hill climb of this width is really, really handy. It works so well.
Wonderful. Ed Foster is there to speak to him.
Alex Summers, what if I told you that you are the second fastest man ever to climb that piece of tarmac?
I mean, what an honour, what an honour, yeah. Dead chuffed. Really pleased for the guys. Obviously, we had that issue earlier, so it's lovely to be up here and it's lovely to fly the flag for the brand. So yeah, couldn't be happier right now.
There's some amazing onboard footage on the way up, and your eyes were like saucers. It's obviously quite alarming to drive this thing.
I've had more texts about my eyes today than about anything else. I'm like, what did it look like? No, never mind that, just your eyes. So that's what we care about. So it's a great camera angle, and I hope it gives some idea of just what the emotions are on the start lane and on the rest of the course. I'm just watching it now, look at that. Ooh.
Can anything prepare you for the acceleration off the line with this thing?
I'll be honest, no. Being fired out of a cannon, maybe. Look at my eyes, look at that. No, it's just incredible. And, you know, a huge thank you to the Duke for inviting us in the club and all the marshals and everyone who's put on this incredible event. You know, it's just a real privilege, a real honour. And I hope the guys are having a nice little celebrate down the bottom.
having done a 40.05, Romain Dumas was a 39.9. I think it's safe to say that his record is in danger, isn't it?
Well, like I say, like I said to you earlier, Max will drive the car tomorrow. Max is an incredible talent, and sorry, I'm struggling a bit. He's he's going to show you what the car can do. I'm just happy I'm qualified. Happy we fixed that issue we had earlier, and hopefully they can have good weather tomorrow and a good set of runs.
Congratulations, Alex. You've made a bit of history.
Thank you so much. Cheers.
Well, fabulous job by Alex. He is leading the British Hill Climb Championship at the moment, former champion himself, and second fastest ever up Chelsea Walsh. Recently broke the Dune record as well. So he is very good on a hill, and he's absolutely shattered everybody else. Look at. But I have to say, Ben Mitchell, what a fantastic job he did in that 1982 Formula 2 car, the March BMW, second fastest from Travis Pastrana. Then Justin Law, we expected that Jaguar to be quick, and sure enough, it was up there. And Romain Dumas in the electric supervan, Adam Smalley, Jenson Button, Nick Heidfeld, all up there, Timo Bernhard, and they will all go again tomorrow, of course, to try and go fast once more to actually take the victory. So all that's done, it's been satisfying, of course, but what it has done is it's made an order for tomorrow, and it means that the fastest cars will go last tomorrow. So we'll see it really build up, the tension build up. But I have to say, if that McMurtry Automotive Spearling is running like that, there's not much question, Keith, as to who's going to be fastest.
As a car, you've got to say that'll be the fastest car. It's just a question of whether Max Chilton can better the time that we've just seen. I mean, that was a great drive, I've got to say, from the pilot.
Yeah,
1.8 kilometres, of course, and a blast up the hill there was superb. And he's celebrating, and he might well do as well. I've got to say,
you've got to feel for him a little bit that he doesn't get to do it tomorrow.
You have, indeed. That's exactly how I feel. I mean, he knows that was a good run, and I think it took a little bit out of him as well. Very impressive.
Wonderful. Well, there we go then. He has done a magic job. He's put the pressure back on Max Chilton in a way, because he's done a quicker segment or quicker hill climb than Max did. Max has done some rapid times, but that was even quicker. So I wonder, it really does mean that the record here is achievable, because it's 39.9, and we shall just have to see how that goes. Well, what a dramatic time we've been enjoying here this afternoon.
Race Against Dementia supports early career scientists in their research around the world. Our scientists are supported by the RAD Leadership and Development Programme. So that's interesting to hear that from you.
Race Against Dementia is going about it the right way, invested in new talent, I think there's a lot that we could learn. Being hungry for change is the way to go.
Let's beat dementia together.
So we expect a ding-dong and we expect a tyre smoke you're seeing now from Dave Watkins, and off the line he goes. We are against the clock now. This is the Saturday shootout. It's not just the honour, it's the cups, it's the awards. And Dave Watkins wants to beat all those other historic cars in his particular category. Richard Barrow's going to do his best for the Group N Subaru, but he's been doing really, really well so far, despite his accident in practice on Thursday where he battered that Subaru. It's a bit battered and bruised, but it's going absolutely really, really well indeed. And he's been flying around here, really enjoying it, considering it is his first time. And this isn't an easy rally stage. There's in the region of 16 bends, 14 of them are major bends. As you're watching Dave Watkins hard at work, spinning the wheel there, opposite lock at the rear of the Escort comes out, and Richard Barrow gets going down to this difficult rutted section from the tarmac onto the loose, as we call it. And the Fiat 124 is getting ready for action. That's Mark Bendel. And Tim Bendel was meant to be here with his Lada, Xavier, but we didn't see him, did we?
Now, Rory Bell on the start line. And Max Freeman will be with them this time.
Okay, now let's watch this, because this is going to be a good quick run. If he can keep it out of the banks, keep it out of the bales. Roger Duckworth, you know, top British rally driver, been hugely successful, winning events like Rally Sunseeker, the Rally Sprint Series, Rally Barbados Regular. Oh, nice jump, nice landing from Rory Bell, that's good. And getting it neatly down through the left-hander, and heading on his way through to Kielder and then down through Mikkola. Roger Duckworth coming up the other side of the stage now, climbing up the Sussex escarpment towards the top of the Duke of Richmond's estate and towards that finish line where he wants to flash across. As we watch Rory come through to Delta, as he comes through Gambles,
I tell you what,
onto the inside, across the little bank there, flick it round, on with the hydraulic handbrake, back on the throttle, flicking that rear end round.
I think he holds that together. That's going to be a quick time.
Should be.
Clean everywhere.
Should be. For the first time this year since 2005, this stage has been run in the reverse direction. Where we are now is where the finish used to be, but this is now the tarmac section on the start, so you're going to get good grip off the line, and then you go into the loose stuff. So you need to be positive, you need to be thinking about the changes of surface that you're going to hit, because you've really got mud, field, ground down grass for this first section, and then you go into the clayey bit and more rocky undersurface. The stage is live, and it's an Escort Cosworth, and Lars Sander has got two cars here, Xavier, to choose from. I wonder if he's going to run the other one. He's got the Repsol coloured identical Cosworth Escort as well.
Yeah, he's got the Escort WRC and then that Escort Cosworth, but I just realised nearly every time Lars Sander has been to Goodwood, it's always a different car. So he's bringing a really wide variety of cars here. And you know what? You know, the other thing I personally try and do is pinch myself every now and again, because you and I have been doing this commentary for a few years now. is to try and pinch myself and remember this is a magic event. There is nothing like Goodwood anywhere else in the world. That you can see the diversity, not just of rally cars up here on the stage, if you're up here and have joined us, but the diversity and variety that exists down in front and around the house. Different MotoGP bikes, historic bikes, DTM cars, Formula 1 cars. Now we have Formula E, and as somebody has whispered in my ear, it's the Glastonbury of motorsport, and that's a pretty good analogy. But there is nothing like it in the world.
Some of the action from the rally stage, but what is coming up now is Drift Kana. This is going to be all fun and games. Let's find out a little bit more.
So you want to know what Drift Kana is? Okay. Let's go. Forget engine sizes and batches, any rear-wheel drive can drift. It takes place on the hill and finishes up here at the top paddock. It's a winner-takes-all competition, and it's scored on these 3 criteria. 1, proximity, 2, time, and 3, style. Driver scores are added together, and the highest score wins. James, do you mind showing us how it's done? Proximity is measured by sensors, and the cars have to be close enough to set them off. Time is measured over one section of the course. And style points will be awarded by the commentators. It's fast, it's skillful, it's wicked.
Well, that was a great little look into how the Drift Kana is going to operate, and it's going to be fun to see those vehicles coming out and having a play. We can see the bins in place outside the Goodwood house already, Keith.
Yeah, I wonder how many of them are going to last, as the cars are still coming down the hill at the moment to go back to the paddock from the previous session. Got to say that this is something I've been looking forward to, but I hope they've got a new batch of bins in, Ian.
Well, report is they've got spares and some more spares on top of that. And Ben and Keith, we've been enjoying this for the last 3 days. And over the last 3 days, all I keep hearing is positive and positive and positive news about drifting. And surprisingly enough, how many big drivers that are here this weekend, some huge celebrities saying that they are absolutely enjoying the drifting and how much buzz it creates. I walked into Goodwood this morning from the camping site, and everybody was a good atmosphere. The weather was nice. And then they got the drifting underway this morning on the hill, and the atmosphere just flicked on. It was electric, and it's been electric all day so far.
Well, you managed to get something pretty spectacular out of what is a very, very tight environment, and I think that that is the key. It is very visual. It is visual. It's surreal in some respects, particularly James Dean, who is a little bit on the special side when it comes to the accuracy. I don't quite understand how he manages to have this thing millimetre perfect every time we've seen him on the hill. Maybe he's going to drop the ball in this session.
This could be it. You may have just given him the commentator's curse, the chink in the armour, as we like to say. Yeah, James Dean, we like to call him the machine, because sometimes we wonder if he is actually human or if he is a machine inside that car. He is pinpoint perfect with the accuracy. So far this weekend, over the last few days, he has been ranking highest on the points, getting those barrels on point, not knocking any of them down, and really expressing his self and his style to the judges.
Do you think the bins look as though they've moved them around a little bit, so it makes it for a pretty good setup, I think you've got now?
Yeah, the judges, the drivers and the guys that are operating the system, they've been meeting every single time these guys have been going out and saying, where do we need to tweak them, where do we need to move them, because they want the best show, and the drivers are saying, well, put them here because it's easier, and then some of the other guys are saying, let's make it a little bit more difficult, let's not make it too easy for ourselves.
I think I can probably work out who those drivers are on each side of that scale particularly. Tell us about the speed that they... I mean, there's a speed element to this as well. Are there kind of equal points in every element of this, or are there bigger points for proximity, bigger points for speed up the hill, bigger points for style? How is it scored?
So it's scored basically straight off the start line. We've got these proximity sensors all the way up to just before Molecombe, where the guys are timed, so they have to hit these proximity sensors. They have to be within 12 inches, just 1 foot away from those barrels to activate the sensor. They'll be flashing blue when they get there. If they score and they hit that proximity sensor, they'll go green. They'll get a time to there. Then there's a freestyle section where they're allowed to, you know, pull up outside the grandstands, do some donuts, some burnouts, and get some appreciation from everybody in the grandstands and around Goodwood watching. Then they head to the top of the hill where they have a wall ride with proximity sensors all the way around it, and then finally the pylon. They have to do 2 clean donuts around it to illuminate all the lights before parking that car perfectly in the box.
We're just looking at Alex for a moment here. I mean, look at the way he's enjoying the reaction he's getting from the fans. I mean, I'm sure we're going to get similar in Driftcarna, but he's having a fabulous time.
That is the fastest car up the hill. That is the fastest man up the hill, this 2022 Festival of Speed. It was spectacular. Max Chilton will take over from him tomorrow in the McMurdy vehicle. I've got to say that I've never seen anything quite... Ian, you've seen a lot of weird and wonderful cars. Engineering is the thing in drifting as well. What about that thing?
I mean, we took a walk around yesterday in the paddock when we'd finished our section. We had some spare time, and we took the team up there. We had a good look at that car, and it is an absolute world-class piece of engineering. Look at the way it takes off of the line, Keith.
It's got so much grip, and it's small, which is really useful on a track as narrow as this. It is like a bullet.
It is like a bullet, but you got the feeling from Alex when he got out, dealing with the speed that he's coping with. Not easy at all.
Well, we know he's a very experienced hill climb man. We heard that a little bit earlier. Toby Moody came into the box here and passed the phone to you with the details on it. But look at the wide eyes that he's got there. This thing, you're on the edge, I think, of human capability. The way this thing came up the hill, you cannot blink, otherwise you're going to be in the bales.
It's over so fast. I mean, when we see some of the older cars, some of the slower cars come up, and we can chatter away for quite a long time, you and I, Keith, can't we? Waffle, waffle, and then with this thing coming up, we have to be pretty precise. It's so rapid.
You have to drop into bike mode, I think, when it comes to something as quick as this. But he almost looked relieved to get that over and done with as accurately as he did.
Ian, have any of your drift guys, have they all been tempted to have a go in that yet?
Every one of them have said, what an absolute piece of kit. And I think the most astonishing thing about that vehicle is that it can create 2,000 kilograms of downforce sitting still. I mean, the engineering, the work, the thought process that's gone into that is unbelievable. 1,000 horsepower, which is produced by those electric motors, is nothing nowadays. Bagsy's GTR has 1,200 horsepower. So power is not the thing that's most impressive. It's the way that they deliver it. It's the way it takes off with that downforce.
Let's hope they keep it on suck, not blow. Otherwise, that thing is going into space.
Well, let's not hope that. We've seen Max Chilton in it yesterday, as you said, Ben.
Yeah, well, we'll find out. OK, so we've got the cars beginning to line up for the Driftcarna now, and there's James Dean actually at the front of the queue at the moment. Whether he will be the first one we see going out.
Yeah, they were saying that they were trying to get themselves in a bit of an order, trying to work out a little order as how they were going to go. But the marshals are not silly. They were just picking them out here and there to mix the order up a little bit.
Oh.
So you talk about order. I mean, we talk about track temperature and grip and rubbering in a circuit and so on and so forth. Will the first runners rubber in the track on this particular course?
So we are now getting ready for this Driftcarna round 2. It's going to be a pretty exciting moment, and we've got the cars beginning to line up down there, and Ian Waddington joining us with the expert view on what these guys are doing. You're always with them, you're working with them all the time, Ian, but we're really looking forward to what could be a tight battle, although that man who's just been waving at us, James Dean, he's been phenomenal this weekend.
He's been absolutely phenomenal. He's been setting the scoreboards alight, Ben. He's been really using that skill, that talent that we've been talking about and how precise he is inside the car. But this young man, now Jordanian's very own Ahmed Daham in this incredible carbon Kevlar Lexus RCF. Look at him pumping the steering wheel. He said he's not messing around now. He went out yesterday and we see him, Ben and Keith, put that car to the absolute edge of the tarmac on his first ever run. He said said, this is it, this is the one. James Dean's always been the man to beat. He's always had a target on his back, if you like. But Ahmed Daham said, no, this weekend, I'm going to do it. I'm going to set the scoreboards alight. I'm going to really impress me, as a judge, and the crowds here at Goodwood.
This is Tetsuya Hibino. He's so enthusiastic. He doesn't speak much English, but he's got so much energy to him.
He certainly has.
Where are the judges on the course?
Me, you, and Ben.
Really?
Like that.
Yes. So the more influence we get, normally in drift situations, the judges don't really get too biased or too influenced by the crowds because they have that keen eye. That is their job. But us, we're drift fans, as we like to say, and we're here for the experience. So the more the crowds on the grandstand and around the hay bales applaud, cheer, get their camera phones out and film, the more points we'll give them. I've got a scoring board next to me. It goes from 0 to 1,000 extra points.
Okay, well, we will bear that in mind. It depends how loud we get, really, doesn't it, Keith? That's the message.
I feel a level of pressure all of a sudden here in the commentary box for the first time in this entire weekend here at the Festival of Speed. I've got a feeling this is going to be certainly even more frantically dynamic than we've experienced so far this week, because this is the competition. This is the bit that they've been building for.
Yeah, it certainly is. And these guys have now had a few days to feel it. And you can see Kevin Quinn there just watching the stream of live from Goodwood, getting a feeling for probably how everyone else is doing. Kevin Quinn, the Northern Ireland driver, very, very competitive.
Ian, you were talking to me yesterday about how they have the radiators in the back. You can really see that there, how it's got this huge radiator in the back. Just remind us why they have that.
So these cars, they obviously travel sideways around 90% of the tracks they go to. Very rarely do they go forwards, only until they initiate the drift, which is by a clutch kick in the car, Scandinavian flick, or pulling the hydraulic handbrake to lock the rear wheels. So there's not a lot of airflow. So what these guys do now is they move the radiator to the back. They increase the size of the radiator because there's no width or height constraints. We put an electric water pump in there to move the water around the car quickly, and it cools the car and balances the car 10 times nicer than what a front radiator would do in a normal car.
There's Axel Hildebrand, who has got this all-new machine that he arrived with this weekend, and they finished it off while they were arriving, pretty much, which is fun to see.
It certainly is, and these guys have worked really hard. And again, more guys that have been testing and tuning this car and staying up late into the night to get the alignment done.
We're off. James Dean then blasts off in the BMW. Let's see what he manages to do in this. He's been spectacular. Look at him.
Yeah,
incredible. Perfect. Grass to grass to grass. But here we go. Look how close he is in the proximity department. He's missed out on 2 barrels, though, in these early 4.
Yeah, but James Dean's being very, very clever here. He's going for speed. You can see the way he whipped through those first 2 corners. He's not messing around. He's trying to get these proximity sensors lit up if he can. He's not worried about dropping 1 or 2 proximity sensors. He wants the speed. Look at this. He's going to go very, very fast under the bridge. Look at this flick in the car. Is he going to stop for some donuts? No, he's not going to. He's going to score low now on the freestyle points, but he's definitely going to get up some speed. As you can see now, picks up more proximity sensors. James Dean absolutely firing through the Goodwood hill here now, up towards the flint wall. Will he flick it left to right? He certainly will. James Dean dicing with danger as he comes past the flint wall, up now towards the end of the circuit.
Beautiful control as ever, but I'm surprised he didn't do another extra donut in there. He's really stripped it out in a way this time.
He certainly has. He's looking for that time. He's trying to get that time element down as he now comes up to the finish line. That time will probably pop up on our screen and that will be recorded. And now he's got a little cool down area. So he's got the run up to the top of the hill with the turnaround area. He's going to cool that car down, get to the top of the hill, and then reevaluate where he is and try and score many points there.
In that final little section that they do up at the top.
That's correct, Ben, yes.
Now you could see Keith there. He's really getting those tyres to smoke and getting pretty close to the bins.
Yeah, he was perfect when it came to the bins. He missed out on a couple of them, but as you say, Ian, it's a change in style for him. Normally he would be going for the spectacular, the fan favourite donuts in the middle of the course. He didn't. He went for a full-on assault on the hill.
Yeah, he went for a full attack, as we like to call it, and I think James Dean's just changed his game plan. He wouldn't have told any that down at the Cathedral Paddock. He would have kept that close to his chest, and here he goes up at the top end. We can see him now. He's illuminated every barrel or every light on that wall ride. He's now going around that pylon that we spoke about. He gets the lights illuminated, he flicks it. Oh, and he misses the parking spot completely, does James Dean.
Where's he going?
Couldn't see through his own smoke.
He's meant to arrive backwards into that parking slot, isn't he?
Yeah, he didn't do it. So
well, he got plenty of green lights up as far as the barrels and the proximities are concerned. Style-wise, I'm not convinced. Even though I think he has been a great driver this weekend so far, I'm not sure style-wise he cops it just there, personally.
So there we go. Ahmed Daham now in the carbon Kevlar. Lexus again, right to the edge
beautiful.
of the circuit. Incredible, as you say, Keith. Perfect and beautiful. Flicks his way through another go. He's going to go for the speed here, or will he do some style? He does. He gets to the outside in front of the house now, throws it in to those barrels. You can see him lighten them up perfectly. Will he stay down there or will he move away? He's going to move away. He's going for the speed. You can see him shift a gear at the back of that Lexus, dip down, pick up the grip.
He looked like he dropped out of gear there for a moment.
He's gone for a rolling burnout. That car ever so slightly stalled up. Big rolling burnout underneath the bridge as the external wastegate pops and bangs. And now he's going to go for some style. No, once again, another guy going for the speed. The tactics have changed.
Yeah, they're all going for this.
Well, we watched some of the drivers looking on their phones. They will have seen what James Dean did because they're picking up the Goodwood feed.
They certainly are, and that's what we use in the real-life competition too. Look at that, Daham almost takes the front bumper off the car. You can see the flame erupt underneath the car from that external wastegate as Ahmed Daham now looks to finish this run off in style. Big clutch kick, you can hear the car wind up on power.
It's a big, powerful machine. It's got 1,200 horsepower.
It's around 1,000 horsepower at the moment. He said he's detuned it ever so slightly for this weekend.
Okay, that's interesting because the grip level...
almost.
A bit of a tap there.
Yes, that's more than a bit of a tap. I think we've got a bit of a flap going on now
Yeah.
because some body workers... He did look like his bonnet was on the move again as well. I noticed that was flexing fairly well.
I think that might be a heat tactic, just lifting the front of the bonnet ever so slightly on those aero catch bonnet pins to get the cold air under the front of the car. And look at this, incredible stuff. And
They
yeah,
take any opportunity to get some air in there, don't they?
They certainly do, yeah. These cars, I was speaking to some people earlier down the paddock and they said these cars aren't like any other car. You know, a touring car will go round.
It's good stuff. So let's just have a look at how it finishes. Well, he parks in the right place.
He certainly did. Look at that arm out the window as well. He's happy with that one. We need to give him a score for that. We're going to go for a good score there, 750, I reckon, because he risked it all up the hay bales.
Yeah, he certainly did. That was a fully committed drive, I think you call that.
Certainly was. So it is Tetsuya Habino in the Super Silhouette Liberty Walk S15 up next.
And James Dean, the favourite, has been put under a bit of pressure here. These guys have upped their game somewhat.
And this guy, this is...
Yeah, we got a bit of one-handed...
Japanese pro for many, many years, in his late 40s now. And he's put on a pretty good show already, hasn't he?
Yeah, Tetsuya Habino's been pulling panels off this car all weekend, pushing it to the limit now. Will he have chose the same way that James Dean has got, or will he go for more of a style, which you can see him getting into that donut?
Beautiful.
Very nicely done. Look at this from Habino. This car running a quad-rotor master engine, 1,400 horsepower. Look, arm out the window as he waves to the crowd at the grandstand. And big rounds of applause, everybody enjoying the show here at Goodwood.
He's not going for the flat-out bit initially. Now he's picking it up a bit more. Are we going to see another rotation in this section?
Doesn't look like it. Go straight on by. Get that proximity centre lit up as well. We've only dropped 2 so far. I mean, he's not bad as a one-handed driver, is he?
No, he's done most of the run with one arm out the window. Now, he's not going to go for the speed up the hill. I think he's going to go for more of the show element. Looking at the looks of it. He almost takes the side of the car up on the hay bales.
Oh, that's nice. Gets it flicked to a good angle. Kicks up a little bit of the grass. Yeah, smoky, but he keeps off the straw bales.
He certainly does, yeah. Gets himself back onto it again. There we go, the cool-down area that we talked about. A little run up through the finish line down to the top of the hill.
I think the only way he could impress me more is if he did a selfie while he was driving along. He's got one arm free, clearly, so...
Yeah, that'd be entertaining. Let's have another little look at this action. Oh, he was actually quite close, wasn't he?
He was very close.
Yeah,
I think it was a little more of a scruffier run, and he missed one of the barrels as he did this. Look at the way that axle was starting to tramp as well there.
Yeah, the way that these cars are set up so much to gain that grip as the suspension bounces up and down. You can really see it when they've locked the rear wheel on these slow-mo shots, the way the wheel moves and articulates inside the chassis. Very nice stuff. Now, Habino makes his way to the top. You see the flames once again erupting at the bottom. Gets all the wall ride done. Into the pylon he goes. Full throttle, smoking him out. And you can see nudging it with that front bumper, that big split hanging off the front of that Liberty Walk bumper. Gets the pylon fully illuminated. Gets himself into the park. It's brilliant. Wow, very nice.
That was really nice.
Look at the angle of those front wheels, though. We talked about it yesterday. The engineering involved. It looks like the front wheels fell off.
Yeah, a lot of people wonder how and what goes on there. But yeah, increased steering angle from suspension components, lower arms, uprights, the whole lot. Up next it is Bagsy in the Nissan R35 GTR. And Bagsy, the big showman, going for a very flamboyant run. Expect to see donuts at every single part of the circuit as he makes his way down now. Flicks in that Monster Energy R35 GTR. Look at this, very, very nice from Bagsy. Transitions that car left to right. He's going to go opposite way into the barrel. Gets it done.
Proper hooligan machine, this one, isn't it? It looks like something you could be scared of. Drops in. Does he get all of the proximity centres?
Oh, it's come to a bit of a halt.
Oh, he's come to a bit of a halt. You can see a big flame erupts out that front bumper. That is where the exhaust comes out. Oh, maybe the car
has he
cut
broken
out on
a
circuit.
drive shaft or something? It's
no, we haven't seen this happen very often with these guys.
Haven't seen it at all this week.
No.
So far. We've had a few bumpers left on the track, but a breakdown is a rare thing.
Yeah, it certainly is.
That's
so
a tough
Bagsy
one.
having issues with that car, and yeah, drive shafts. A lot of people say, why do these guys break drive shafts or break transmission parts? It's because the reaction inside the car, you have to dip the clutch, pull the handbrake to lock the rear wheels, and then let go of the handbrake and lift the clutch within a microsecond. And 1 microsecond wrong, and you're breaking a drive shaft, because there is no way that drive shaft's going to spin when you've got the rear brakes locked and you lift your foot off the clutch.
How heavy are these cars to push?
Quite heavy.
Yeah.
It's the locked rear differential that really causes the problem. So a lot of these guys are running what's called a Winters quick change differential, known for oval racing in America, and then brought into Formula Drift and then found in Europe. These cars run a spool diff. So the centre of the diff is a billet piece of aluminium with a ring gear on it. So there is no give whatsoever. So when you're trying to push these cars, especially when they've low tyre pressures, turn the steering wheel even a fraction and the rear wheel doesn't want to turn it. But it feels like you're trying to push the car with a handbrake on.
Well, the Marshals always doing a fantastic job here at Goodwood. They've managed to get it out of the way, but it's got to be put into an area of complete
it kind of underlines
safety.
that these cars are not that light either, I would suggest. I mean,
they've got some pretty big power units in them, haven't they?
Yeah, but judging by the way everyone's struggling to get that thing parked up in front of Goodwood House, he's early for dinner, folks.
He certainly is, yeah. Bagsy early for dinner. He's going to leave it there and go straight into the house tonight in his race suit.
Oh, well, it's a bit disappointing, though, because it's a shame that Bagsy wasn't able to get it to the end. Very experienced in this line of motorsport, the drift competitions he's been doing for a good long time, but okay, hasn't worked out this time. He's always got tomorrow. He's going to have a final run tomorrow.
Overnight to fix the car and back at it tomorrow. Up next, Kevin Quinn in the impeccable Sylvia S15, the Quinn's M Sport S15. Young man travelling from Northern Ireland in a brand new build and impeccable. I spoke about it the other day. I said to you how clean this car is, and everybody around the paddock was saying such an amazing build.
Well, we'll see how much he's prepared to risk this car. That's what it's all about at this stage in the competition.
Does he want to keep it impeccable?
Yeah. Well, I'm sure he'll want to, but how much he's prepared to push.
Whether he does or not, he said tomorrow night for the final drift car round, he may shed a few body panels. We'll see how that one works out. Let's see if he can keep him on him for this run.
It must be hard when you've built a new drift car and you do those first bits of damage. Once you've done the first few, it's just standard. You just replace the bits. It's part and parcel of drifting, isn't it? But it must be hard when you've built it for the first time.
We all like that with new cars anyway.
We are. We all
like
have
that scuff on the bumper and you've rubbed it on the curb for the first time.
Yeah, exactly the same.
I'm a wheel specialist.
Yeah, same as me. Well, there we go. Kevin Quinn fires that car on the foot brake, left to right, up the track he goes. And now fires that car in. You can see the way he just about slowed the rear wheels down enough. Oh, he's going to have to put in some work here. Yeah, didn't work out for him. A little bit too early. Fix on that sensor, though. Goes for that one.
That one as well.
Nicely done from Kevin Quinn. Now comes outside the house to the barrels. This is where it all went wrong for Bagsy. Kevin Quinn, though, no issues so far. Gets a nice clean donut in the bag. Now makes his way. He's going to do a big rolling burnout all the way up the hill, wave into the grandstand. Kevin Quinn, the showman.
That smoke is the same colour as the car. It's all very matching. Beautiful, beautiful job.
And nicely picks up the power once again once the wheels stop turning and grip up. You can see him flick that car in. Nicely done once again, Kevin Quinn. On form. A lot of these guys now losing that show element up the hill, but they're going for the speed. That must be the new tactic.
I wonder if they've all agreed to this beforehand or something.
Because
they're not It was tight, wasn't it?
If you clip that bail, you're going into the flint wall on the opposite side of the road. That is almost a certainty. So, top of the hill then.
Yeah,
the Nissan Silvia looking extremely clean and tidy. And 2 barrels. Go green.
Yeah, gets them absolutely perfect. For me, the hairy moment of that was when he come up towards the flint wall. I thought he was going to take the front wing off the car and, you know, catch that wheel on that hay bale, like you say, Keith, and it could be all over. Here he comes, though, up the top of the hill now. Kevin Quinn, we wait for him to appear.
He stands back, waiting for the drifting car to come into sight.
Yeah, it comes in nice and hot. You can see him already set that car up way down early on the hill. Into that pylon he goes. Nice job, Kevin Quinn, to that front wheel, following the outside circumference of that barrel perfectly. Camera lost in the smoke. Can he get it parked up?
The answer,
job
not
done.
bad.
Pretty good. Yeah, that was nice. And Kevin has kept it immaculate still, just about.
Yeah, it was close. It was close to not being immaculate.
Now then, this is a very interesting car. The bonnet's off of it on purpose. It's something we've been talking about all week, and it's got quicker and more accurate. Is that down to setup?
He's taking the roof off too, look, so we can see his hand waving out of the roof.
He said
now.
he was going to slowly lose more and more panels over the course of the weekend. Yeah, the setup, these guys have been working non-stop on this car to get it exactly how Axel wants it to drive, and he said he's thrown on yet again another pair of red tyres for this demonstration out here, and goes nicely close to that barrel. You can see the way he just precisions the back end on there and then quickly gets out of that, away from danger. Into that donut he goes, oh, and he's made a hash of that one. He's going to have to go back at it again. Or is he going to abandon? No, he's going to try and go for it. No, abandons it and makes his way up the hill.
Smoke. I don't quite know where that came from. He thought he was a red arrow for a moment then.
Yeah, that was definitely coming out a different colour. Yeah, that didn't quite work out for Axel, did it? The initial part, it looked as though he's really getting more comfortable with this new machine. It's got this triple rotary engine in it.
Yeah, Axel deciding to lose the standard Chevrolet LS3 V8 underneath the bonnet and go for a triple rotor PPRE engine, same as what Mad Mike runs in his cars. And he said that these engines, incredible, but very, very highly strung. They rev to the moon and back, and Axel there getting a little bit squirrely out on circuit. Almost.
Yeah, he's kind of, I think he's annoyed himself a little bit here, hasn't he? Because he's sort of bailed out of this a bit, and I think he's probably disappointed himself with that early run.
It's a snappy car at the moment. They do need to do a bit more development on it. It's definitely got a bit of snappiness. It's not as predictable as some of the other cars that are in this group.
No, it's certainly not, yeah. And predominantly this chassis, we spoke to a few other drivers that have these chassis, and they said when you're driving this car, you feel like you're sitting on the rear wheel. So although it looks like or feels like you're carrying a lot of steering angle, you're actually not. So Axel, still work to be done to get himself dialed in on this chassis. Always say seat time is key to get yourself absolutely dialed in with the car. And Axel Hildebrand there getting the slow-mo shots. You can see those rear wheels tucked up into the carbon Kevlar arch.
How much is sort of stiffness of suspension a key role in getting the development right on these machines? Here he is doing the last part. Let's just see
if he
how
marks it well.
Yeah, he's done the rotation nicely, hasn't he?
Yeah, needs to get a little bit closer. You can see those lights flashing red.
Oh, yeah.
So we're going to go now for the park. Gets it done, not too bad.
He's obviously got some display smoke involved there with the rear tyres.
Yeah, gone for the red smoke rear tyres to try and impress the crowd. Now, going back to your question, Ben, suspension. A lot of people think that we run them very stiff. We don't. We want a lot of suspension travel. We use the best coilovers available on the market. These guys using KWST coilovers, BC Racing. They go above and beyond in coilover technology to get the bump, the rebound, everything exactly right. Paul Smith off the line in the Jap Speed Maxxis tyres, GT86.
Yeah, a lot of people will love seeing a GT86 out there. It's a very popular car, of course. This one, a slightly modified version.
Yeah, slightly modified. Now has a Toyota Supra bottom half of the engine and a Toyota Sora top half of the engine. It's a 1.5 JZ, so it's almost a 3-litre.
He's missed one barrel coming up through onto these three. I think these are looking a little neater. He may have missed one of those as well. So he's a couple of barrels now. He got them. So he's on his way.
Physically, it's a slightly smaller car than the others. Is that an advantage or disadvantage when you're trying to do the bits with the bins and all that?
I think it's an advantage, to be honest with you. I think when you get into it, you know exactly where the back end is. Bagsy's car is absolutely huge. When you sit in the driver's seat, you can barely see the outer proximity of the vehicle. I think Paul Smith's got such a nice seating position. He's quite high in the car. He can see the extremities of the car, and he knows exactly where the back and front bumper is as he comes around the flint wall.
That was nice.
Yeah, that was a class manoeuvre through there.
Yeah, we see people trying to get it right through there, but that was one of the neater ones we've seen, I think, so far.
Very clean from Paul Smith, yeah, the 2012 British Drift champion. Plenty of experience under his belt now, got into a semi-retirement, brings his car out for demonstrations and show purposes, and says that Festival of Speed and any event he could get to at Goodwood is always the one he'll head for throughout the year. You can see more of those flames erupting from
coming
the back
up the final part of the hill there. Is that give them an opportunity just to cool it slightly before we get into the final part of the final phase of demonstration?
Yeah, it certainly is. They get the car, they'll be off throttle, coasting that car up the hill, just trying to cool it down a little bit before they go full steam into it. They know that once they get into those barrels as well, get into that pylon manoeuvre, the car will start to get really, really hot, no airflow whatsoever, as Paul Smith now demonstrates this up onto the wall he goes. Nicely done, all 4 lights illuminated. He goes for the pylon, he's going to get that top one illuminated in any second. Now, makes his way around, there he goes. Now he looks to park the car in the box.
No, he doesn't.
Oh, and he doesn't, he misses it.
Oh dear, it wasn't where he thought it was going to be.
No, it certainly wasn't.
Well, that's a couple of guys now who haven't got into the parking box.
If you do make smoke, you've got to be able to look through it.
Now, this is Tessa Whittaker, isn't it? Getting ready to do her run.
Yeah, Tessa Whittaker, the female drift ambassador and the Driftworks Monster Energy R33 Nissan Skyline.
She's kind of just been getting used to things, I think, on this really tight and twisted, really difficult track. So narrow, with the crown in the middle of the road, which just throws them slightly. Some of these drivers seem to have a little bit more experience with their cars and have overcome that. But Tessa's been getting better and better through the week.
Yeah, she certainly has, and she said that she was very, very nervous coming into this weekend. She said there was a lot of pressure, a lot of eyes on her here at Goodwood, but now she feels more and more comfortable within the car, and she said, no messing around, today's the day. I'm going to try and get the job done.
She's been competing now for about 5 years, which is a lot less than some of the other drivers that she's up against.
It certainly is, but she's no lack of experience, Ben. She's done a lot of stunt driving for Mission Impossible, Lufa, and she's been to Uruguay recently, as we mentioned a couple of other days ago, to do some stunt driving and some filming for Gazoo Racing. So
and she runs. You were telling me she runs the drift school. So you could learn from her. Well,
she certainly does. Yeah, you guys. She said she did offer. She said if Ben and Keith want to come to learn to drift a car, she said Wigan Three Sisters Race Circuit is where it is, and that's where her drift school is.
As long as it's not my car.
Well, let's see how the rest of it goes. It's a pretty good run, this, you know. This is the best run we've seen from Tessa. I think she's really getting it together with this one.
Yeah, I think she's got her confidence back now. She said that flint wall is more scarier than you think as you come towards it, and she'd absolutely nailed that as Tess now starts to calm the nerves, gets herself up towards the back end of the hill. Look at this, no messing around. Tess feeling very, very confident as she heads down those narrow hay bales.
You mentioned the flint wall. It's not a curve, is it? It's got bits that jut out in it.
It's jagged,
you could get it really quite wrong there, and that would be a car destruction point of this circuit.
Well, the first section's gone well for her. Let's see how the last bit with the pylon and everything. But that was definitely what I think one of her best runs of the week so far.
Yeah, certainly is. I'm going to see some highlights of Tessa getting it wrong ever so slightly outside the house. Gets the rear wheels on the grass. Yeah, again, some more grass, Keith, that won't need cutting this weekend.
I think the Duke of Richmond might be sending for the landscapers for this week. I think the drifters have added to his woes over that grass edging.
So here we go, Tessa making her way into that wall ride section, gets it nailed. Yeah, all done. Very nice from Tess. You can see the way she locked up that foot brake, getting herself into that pylon. Now Tess, very good. You can see with that stunt driving and that drift school training coming into practice here. Gets herself past.
Oh dear, that didn't quite work.
She managed to park the monitor, although not the car.
Yeah, put it in place. Oh, it was working so perfectly. She had the front bumper just touching, but then it touched a little bit too much.
Yeah, unfortunately knocked it over and didn't get herself parked in that box.
But then, of course, it all depends on how much weight is in the pylon. I mean, sometimes that must be quite hard to know. Sometimes it's full of concrete.
Exactly.
And you're going to damage the car. In this case, it's not so heavy and it gets moved very easily.
Exactly.
The pylon monitor has come to fix the pylon. I have to say, is he your technician? He's
Here we go.
So, Martin
I hope they get it fixed pretty quick.
Yeah, so do I. Martin Richards off the line in the Driftworks Nissan Silvia S15.
I think this is a pretty car.
Yeah.
Now, Martin Richards has a little, gives me some information. He said this car was down some horsepower. He actually had a problem with the car. He didn't realise it was actually running 350 horsepower.
Wow.
Where it should be running the 500. So he's been doing a stellar job so far the last few days here at Goodwood in a car that was suffering some issues. Now, he said he feels a little bit more confident going into Driftcarna this afternoon.
He has been able to get some of that power back, has he?
Yeah, they fixed the car. They worked late till last night to get the car done.
Oh, here we go.
Now Martin Richards has chose the other option. He's going to go for the style points.
And he didn't get it right.
No, he didn't quite work. He didn't
get the pendulum swinging.
Indeed. So it hasn't gone quite to plan. But he's an experienced drifter, isn't he? He's involved on the organising side too of the whole drifting game, isn't he?
Yes, exactly. Yeah, he's been in the game for a very long time. He competes all over Europe in the Drift Masters European Championship. He was in the Middle East at the beginning of the year. He's such an influential name. He was one of the first people from the UK to travel with a drift car outside of the UK. So a lot of respect to Martin Richards. He's an ambassador, you know. He moved to sport forward, and he's a very influential voice to a lot of young drifters. Look at that from Martin Richards. Incredible stuff.
That was lovely, that bit, yeah.
Yeah, just that. The thing that they would normally get absolutely perfect is a 360, and that's the one thing he hasn't got perfect on this occasion, on this run.
I think it's the adrenaline this afternoon. I think they've watched the shootout qualifying, and you can see that bonnet lifting up with the speed he's carrying up the hill. I think they've built themselves up. It's been a long wait since this morning, and now they was eager to get out in the car and to prove what they can do. And Martin Richards here, you can see the way that wheel travels up and down inside the rear arch.
That was good, wasn't it? I know the angle of the camera made it probably look even closer than it was, but that was beautifully judged.
Here we go, top of the hill.
Yep, so, so Tess Whittock there, she's replacing the pylon with herself, Martin Richards. And
they are partners.
They are partners, yeah, and Tess and Martin got engaged this time last year on the roof of the house, so a very special place for Martin and Tess.
Oh, that's lovely. Yeah.
A quality couple.
Yes.
Can you imagine going out for a drive with them?
You might not have any tyres left, Keith, by the end of it.
That's a fact. You'd need sponsorship, that is for sure. So, Tess Whittock showing a sense of humour. They're still fixing the pylon that she knocked over a little earlier. Her partner will have come up to it and wondered where it was, and there was his partner in the middle of the track.
That was great. Good stuff. Well done. And it put on a tremendous show. But so, do we know who's going to end up having the best scores?
Well, hopefully we should see them on screen in a minute, Ben, and we've got one more of these Driftcarna shootouts to go. That will be tomorrow, just after midday. And then tomorrow evening we will crown our 2022 Driftcarna champion. Here we go.
Okay, well, let's see how the table is looking then, guys.
Yeah, there you go, Ahmed. And you might have expected that, really, but not much of a lead in Gymkhana, in Driftcarna terms, is it?
No, not really, but Ahmed Daham really there. He said he was going to come out today and really prove what he had, and he has. A 9,287-point score, knocking James Dean down into second. Kevin Quinn jumping way up the order into third. Avino there into fourth, Paul Smith into fifth, and we can see, unfortunately, Bagsy right down the bottom, a 3,000-point score. Not a bad score, considering he didn't really do half of the run.
No, that's right. Well, it's been fascinating, great fun to watch, and we've got an opportunity to go to Ed and get some reaction from what's happening up there.
Martin Richards, we've got absolute chaos up here in the top paddock. What are you going to do? Martin, I'm going to grab you. I'm so sorry. Now, you come up into the top paddock, you're ready to do your wall ride, you're looking for the barrel, and then who do you see? Tessa, what was through your mind?
I see my other half, Tessa, standing there. I'm like, quick thinking, get around her. She's the cone I'm meant to go around and just send it. It was amazing. It was good fun.
Tessa, you are an incredibly trusting person to let that happen.
Yes, he is my other half, and we did get engaged here last year as well, so it's just our little anniversary gift for him.
Everyone should have an anniversary donut, shouldn't they? But the rest of the run, it looked pretty clean. Obviously, the surprise at the top, but all else went well, no?
Yeah, like I said earlier, I've been struggling with the car a little bit all weekend, but I think that run we pulled it together, found our little stride, and I'm interested to see where we come.
You must get extra points for that, surely. You're on board with that?
I hope so. I really hope so. I really hope so.
20 extra points?
I'll see if I can speak to someone. Guys, well done.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Appreciated.
Up over the finish line goes Sam Schmidt, and the technology developed by Arrow.
We're looking at the air scoop at the top, up the back, required for the twin-engine approach from the Scirocco of Kim Mailer there. And I think, what was the horsepower he quoted for each engine?
He said it's 150 plus 150 and a bit more.
So,
which is class, but I mean, I've had a look around this car. The engineering on it is nothing short of fantastic, but you were explaining that a very good Formula 2 racer, a very accomplished rally driver, he's one of those guys that just can put his hand to anything, but this is an amazing car.
Yeah, it's a treat for everybody, for all of us watching on screen, and if they're watching out on the stage, everybody, you can hear us across on the public address on the tannoy. You're just watching Philippe Tolomanau going over that little jump through into Gambles, that Gambles section, the lowest part of the course, and Stig Blomqvist's signature on the front of the Saab, which is... did you tell me that that was the first turbocharged car to win a rally?
Yes. Sweden 1979, I think.
Good.
But I was also telling you that Stig Blomqvist competed in the Sedan Products Open Championship, and I remember him doing the Circuit of Ireland, and they were having to change the pads about every 2 stages. They just could not keep brake pads in the car.
So Richard Connolly at the wheel in the Saab.
Sounds like it is a misfire.
Yeah, doesn't sound too good. We didn't see it out this morning, and I wonder if that was the reason that it had problems with the engine. So gripping very, very nicely through there, the Scirocco. God. Now, that was a flick that he didn't want, because that was a bit of buckaroo going on there. Up came the rear, down came the front, and it threw it all out of kilter. But the navigator pointing, and Kim knows where he's got to go and how he's got to get all the way around, do his 360, that's fine, so his time will count. And rallycross or rallying, these are real beasts in turbo T16, the Peugeot.
Leaving the start line now, car 67, which is that wonderful, wonderful Audi Coupe Quattro Dakar, and a very, very unique car. It's a replica of Audi's A2, which the owner is hoping to get an entry accepted into the Paris Dakar Historic. He was chatting to Tony yesterday. Tony had a great chat with him out wandering around with the camera. Knocks out about 430 horsepower, 6-speed manual, weighs 1,460 kilos. And again, a great example of cars you'll only see at Goodwood. And that's what I mean about the diversification that we get here and the variety. We cut back now to Chris Dakin in the RAF, Subaru Impreza. Chris has been tantamount at bringing a lot of support, not just for the RAF, but also the other armed forces to Goodwood. Hence the displays such as Future Terrain up on the top of the grandstand here at the back of the rally stage area, along with the Armed Forces rally team, the Land Rover team. If you are making your way up through the rally stage or there, come on up and join us, because there is a wonderful, absolutely wonderful display of cars here, some of which, I know I've said it before, but some of which are not going to be on the stage.
Listen to this. Listen and watch and enjoy and savor every moment. Look at this leap though, massive, the longest yet. That's got to be about 60, 65 meters. Easy. and then just pushing on through the rest of the rally stage, absolutely broadside with this all-wheel drive and the big V8 literally rumbling and shrieking. Look, watch this big step that the little rally cars have difficulty with, not this, with a big long suspension travel for the desert, soaks it all up. Wow, what a piece of engineering, the Toyota Hilux. And this was first time, second time, then a little bit short. So NASA thinks, nah, just take that out of the way, squashes it, rolls it over, and it gets spat out to the right-hand side as he disappears through the dust. Lights ablaze, as it would be in the desert in Saudi Arabia on the Dakar. This man knows his way just about through every desert, you know, on the globe, especially in the Middle East. 17 times Middle East rally champion, heading for his 18th title. World cross-country FIA rally champion, coming to the end there, and just entertainment. We'll probably watch that again and again, and it'll form a part of lots of highlight packages from this incredible 2022 Goodwood Festival of Speed.
This was never going to happen. There is no feeling like being on the start line and the counting down 5, 4, and that is the best feeling. People look at me sometimes and go, she's a rally driver. When I'm not driving, I have a pretty hectic life behind the scenes. I'm a bit of an adrenaline junkie, not just the driving, but I also love singing. Going onto stage is very similar to going onto a rally stage. You get that same heart palpitations, you start to get excited, and I absolutely love it. I actually got run over as a baby. Dad managed to get the car off me, and Dad stopped breathing, and he had to resuscitate me. I got run over, but now I'm a rally driver, so figure that one out. I sometimes feel like I've had to prove myself a bit more than maybe the average driver. I had a little boy come up to me when I was sat in a rally car, and he looked at me and laughed and said, "What are you doing there?" And I thought, how cheeky, how could he say that? But then his dad came over and encouraged him and laughed. People outside motorsport, I think, are the ones that we need to prove that girls can do this sport. And if I can prove to people that maybe think that girls can't do something, I want to prove to them that they're wrong.